नमस्कार। आपका इस नेक्स्ट वीडियो जो मेरे भारत एक बरगद चैनल का नेक्स्ट वीडियो है, इसमें आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। और आज का जो वीडियो है, दो बातें हैं इसमें। एक तो इस वीडियो का जो टाइटल है वो है ओरिजिन ऑफ रिलीजन एंड मॉडर्न रिलीजन। और ये जो वीडियो है ये मैं अपने मेडिकल ऑफिस में रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि आज मैं अभी मेडिकल ऑफिस में ही हूँ अपने। मेरे बिजनेस ऑफिस है मेरा ये, तो मैं यहीं पे रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ। तो चलिए बात शुरू करते हैं। पहला, नंबर 1, यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानं धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहं परित्राय साधु न विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थार्थ संभवानि युगे युगे। ये गीता महाभारत का एक बहुत ही फेमस वर्स है जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया। इसका मतलब ये है कि जब भी संसार में अधर्म का विजय होती है और धर्म का नाश होता है, तब मैं हमेशा उस युग में अधर्म का नाश करने के लिए और धर्म की स्थापना करने के लिए हर युग में आता रहूँगा। ये उपदेश गीता में श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को दिया था जब महाभारत की लड़ाई शुरू होने वाली थी। तो ये एक उसका रिसाइटल है। और दूसरा महाभारत का एक वर्ष है, कर्मेण वाधिकारस्ते माँ फलेचु कदाचन माँ कर्म फल हेतु भारत ते संगो स्वर्त कर्मी। यानी कि इसका अर्थ ये है कि इंसान को सिर्फ कर्म करना चाहिए, अच्छे कर्म करना चाहिए, बगैर परिणाम की या फल की चिंता किए हुए। क्योंकि इंसान का जो धर्म है वो अच्छे कर्म करना है, उसकी चिंता या उसका परिणाम को सोचना उसका काम नहीं है। ये एक माना जाता है कि जब आप अच्छा धर्म और अच्छा काम कीजिएगा तो उसका परिणाम भी अच्छा होगा, ये इसका मतलब है। तो ये तो थी बात हमारे महाभारत की। अब आते हैं हम एक दूसरा जो बहुत ही फेमस एपिक है हिंदू में, जिसका नाम है रामायण। तो इस रामायण को दो लोगों ने लिखा था, जैसे महाभारत को भी लिखा था। तो दो लोगों ने लिखा था, उसमें से एक थे ऋषि वाल्मीकि जी और दूसरा तुलसीदास जी ने लिखा था। तो वाल्मीकि जो लिखी थी वो संस्कृत में लिखी थी, और जो तुलसीदास ने लिखी थी वो अवधी लैंग्वेज में लिखी थी, जो ऑलमोस्ट हिंदी की लैंग्वेज होती है। तो मैं उसमें से दो आपको एक वर्स सुनाता हूँ और एक उसका स्टेटमेंट है वो आपको सुनाता हूँ। तो पहला जो उसका जो स्टेटमेंट है वो है, रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आई, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाई, राम सिया राम जय जय राम, राम सिया राम जय जय राम। तो ये उस रामायण का एक जिस्ट है, उसका एक मेन एजुकेशन है, उसका मेन उपदेश है कि ये जो राम जी थे वो रघुकुल वंश के थे। तो तुलसीदास जी ने ये शो किया है कि रघुकुल रीति सदा, मतलब रघुकुल की ये रीति है कि वचन को निभाना बहुत जरूरी है, चाहे उसके लिए प्राण भी चले जाएं। तो ये एक उनका एक मेन जो था, रामायण का एक मेन मकसद ये था। और दूसरा एक जिसे कहना चाहिए कि एक कहावत है, ये रामायण के रेफरेंस में है, लेकिन ये रामायण में था नहीं ये स्टेटमेंट, लेकिन फिर भी आजकल इसको लोग बहुत कहते हैं और सुनते हैं। इसका नाम है, इसका जो स्टेटमेंट है वो ये है कि विनाश काले विपरीत बुद्धि। यानी कि जब विनाश होता है तो बुद्धि खराब हो जाती है। ये रामायण के रेफरेंस में था। और तीसरा जो एक रेफरेंस था वो ये था कि घर का भेदी लंका ढाए। तो ये जो स्टेटमेंट है, घर का भेदी लंका ढाए, ये लंका की तरफ से दिया गया है, लेकिन इसको मैं ज़्यादा बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ, क्योंकि ये लंका ढाने की बात नहीं है। ये बात ये है कि विभीषण एक बहुत ही पूजनीय और बहुत ही फेमस एक कैरेक्टर था रामायण में, जिसने अधर्म को मिटाने के लिए और धर्म की स्थापना करने के लिए राम को ये बताया था कि रावण का मृत्यु जो है वो कैसे करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सीक्रेट सिर्फ विभीषण को पता था, राम लक्ष्मण को भी नहीं पता था। तो विभीषण ने राम को बताया, जिसकी वजह से उसमें रावण का अंत हुआ। तो एक ये अधर्म के ऊपर धर्म की विजय हुई थी। लेकिन फिर भी इसको लोग गलत ढंग से बोल देते हैं कि घर का भेदी लंका ढाए। तो ये तो एक उसकी बात थी। अब हम लोग आते हैं मेन चीज पे, जिसका मतलब था कि origin of religion. So again here I am going back to my thought in English, because I feel more comfortable talking about this aspect of history in English language. So I'm going to talk about now is origin of religion. So we are talking about origin of religion. But before we go into that, let me start from little bit, just keep your back seat and listen. The most dangerous animal of the world today is men, and men with fire and gun. Because I will tell you what reasons this is the most dangerous animal in the world. Is that foremost thing is that it is the men who is able to use most natural and artificial resources of the world. No animal can use those resources what human has achieved to use these resources in the world. There are few reasons for that. There are main reasons. The main reason, number one, is bipedalism, that requires men to develop more skill, because it keeps hands free. So this human being can do lot more things with their hand. And the reason is that there is some expense on that you have to give away something to become a walking on two legs. That is called bipedalism. That you have to maintain a balance much better than walking on four legs, number one. And number two, that walking on two legs require a lot more energy than walking on four legs, that we can understand. Now, when the human being gets both hands free, so there are few inherent skill that human develops. If you look at your hand, you can see that thumb can reach at the tip of all the four fingers. And also, all the four fingers can reach your thumb. And not only that, your thumb tips can reach each of the four creases or three creases and tips of your all finger, like this. So this is the skill, or this is the ability which only human being is able to do it. Now, our nearest ancestor that was passed away a few million years ago, there were two offshoots. One is towards the Homo genus, that we are the ultimate called Homo sapiens, and there was second shoot which goes and becomes a dead end. And the dead end, the second shoot from common ancestor, is what we call it today is chimpanzee. So chimpanzee, you can say in a philosophical way that chimpanzees are our nearest relative, but in fact they are not real relatives, because our common ancestor was even before chimpanzee, and that has extinct. So that was for the and this is the reason that we can do few things because of our free hand. We can use all the resources of the world, and we can do engineering, and we can make tools, and we can do a lot more things with our free hand. We'll talk about that later. Now, before we go further to the origin of all the different religion of the origin, from all the different in the different religions, we have some great epics. I just talked about some time back about Mahabharat and Ramayana from Hindu religion, but there are other. These are not the only great epics you can call. There are others which we should understand that those who what they are. That simply means that Hindu religion is not the only religion where most popular and big epics has been developed before in human science or in human world. And now these are epics of Gilgamesh. This was about 1800 to 2100 BC. It is about a Sumerian king in the Sumerian civilization. It is a very long poem, just like Mahabharata and Ramayana, which is called. It is in honor of the king Gilgamesh of the Sumerian, and there was a fight going on with Gilgamesh with Enkidu. Enkidu was created from God, but Gilgamesh keeps on defeating that, and ultimately there was a compromise. There was an agreement between the Enkidu and Gilgamesh, and then God becomes very angry with Enkidu, and he did a lot of wrong things with him, and then ultimately the Enkidu died, and then this Gilgamesh goes into remorse and all kinds of things. I don't know much about detail about this, but I do know that there is a very great epic which is called Gilgamesh. Then after that there is another great epics of the mankind, and it was from ancient historian Homer. He wrote two epics. One is called Iliad, other one is called Odyssey, and I think most people are aware of what the Iliad is. In fact, once I explain to you, then you will know. This is Iliad is a story of Helen of Troy. You remember the Helen of Troy when Paris from Troy steal the Queen Helen from Sparta, and then the army from Sparta came, and there was a fight with Troy. That fight lasted for many years. Ultimately, they could not win the Troy, so they developed a trick. They made a wooden horse, and then some of the warriors were hidden inside that. And in the morning, when the Troy people saw the wooden horse, they thought that it is a gift from the god, and the Spartan has left. So they bring him inside, and at night the warrior came out and they killed everybody and rescued the Helen. But there was another epic from Iliad, which is called, like Homer, which is called Odyssey. So, as we know that the war of Troy lasted for 10 years. Then there was a going back to the Sparta, and there was a warrior among the Sparta called Odyssey. So he was supposed to go back to his kingdom, uh, but it took very long time, more than 10 years, to reach back because there was a lot of problems and there was a curse going on from the god. The god name was Poseidon, and it was very difficult to reach there. Ultimately, he did reach there, but that is for the Homer. Then comes our main Hindu, the epic, which is called Mahabharata and Ramayana. I have some personal experience while watching serial of Mahabharata in 80s. That Mahabharat TV serial was aired in late part of 80s and early part of 90s. The director of this TV serial was Mr. B.R. Chopra, and it was aired on Doordarshan in India. And while I was watching a special segment on that Mahabharat, it was called Making of Mahabharat, and in that, Mr. B.R. Chopra said something. I mean, a lot of people say this, but I heard it from his speech. He said that Mahabharata is a complete action and deeds of mankind. So, whatever happens in mankind is depicted in Mahabharata, and whatever is not depicted or not happens in Mahabharata, it does not happen in mankind. And this is especially true with Mahabharata, that you can see it starts everything being very good. Slowly things becomes bad and bad and bad. Ultimately there was a big fight. Finally, a lot of things had been destroyed at the cost of dharma, the truth, the victory of dharma over the adharma. That was the main teaching or main object of Mahabharata. The next one is from Ramayana, story of Ram and Ravan. We all know about this story. This is basically to fulfillment, making honor to the commitment that you make to yourself and to your family, and you should fulfill those commitments at the cost of anything. That's what it means. Now I will talk to about some, again, to go further in religion point of view, historical purpose. Uh, early historic religion, I will start from Stone Age. At the end of Middle Stone Age, that is Mesolithic period. So in Middle Stone Age, people started using farming and all those things, like civilization and city and state. All those things start developing. Uh, so what kind of religion was that at time? Now, what kind of human people or human species were living during this time? We can, as far as my knowledge goes, that time, I think that the Neanderthal man was the Homo sapiens, not Homo sapien, the Homo species where the Neanderthal man from the Homo sapien genera started. And that was, we have seen that in Neanderthal time, 50,000 years back, we had some paintings on the cave and on the walls, and uh, mm, uh, it was mentioned also in the historical aspect that these Neanderthal people, they try to dance around a fire which is depicted on the cave with the woolly mammoth and all big animals. And as per archaeological evidence, it has been seen that these people, early men, they used to bury their family members in a group. And they found some charred woods and some charred stones and all those things. So there was a suspicion that these people tried to do some kind of ceremony uh, around the fire with their dead family members that we're trying to bury in a group or burying at the same place. So this is the early beginning of religion. So now one thing more I wanted to start from the early practicing religion is secondary need of human. So in those days, the the practicing religion was a secondary thing because the majority of the time they used to do hunting and they used to do gathering and hunting. There was no time to do storage and all those things, so it was from that time. But the first basic need, if a human can uh, get a basic physiological need, after that religion starts, that people think of doing some religious activity. What are those basic things that human needs? These are safe shelter, harmless food and water, and finally, sex. I will tell you why I included the name sex in the basic need. Uh, what happened during this time, I will keep something about the beginning of crime and foul play in mankind. So these are the uh, reason. It started, I think, from late Stone Age when they start agriculture. They have a surplus food, and they got into a permanent settlement, and start of civilization and management give rise to crime and foul play. Following factors are responsible for crime and foul play. What are these factors? Increase in resources for consumption. So human beings started to using more and more resources from the world. So there was increase in use of resources all around. Second thing came, because your hands are free, you started settling down at one place. There was surplus food and those things. And then they started like stealing and controlling the food and goods. That was second reason for foul play and crime. Then power hunger and dominating mankind nature. This was the second one. The next one is there are two aspects of sex. One is a good part, which is called produce offspring. That is one thing. And the second thing, which is not found in any animal being, is called pleasure. Human beings are the only animal species they involve in sex for pleasure or happiness. Because if you go to, or if you look at any animal of the world, the sexual activity is only for to produce the offspring. Once they achieve this goal, then the sexual activities died out. And you can see all over the animals that once their time is done for creating babies, then they don't involve in sex. You can look at dogs, cats, lions, elephants, giraffe, any animal you go. Their only job, sex, was to produce offspring, and after that, there is no pleasure aspect in this. This is only the human being that they got into this pleasure aspect of sex, and this is the major reason for conflict you will see in other civilized society later. So as I said that in Neanderthal time, 50,000 years ago, they were living in a group. They might have a spoken language. There was a spoken language. They were understanding to each other, but it was not written what language they were speaking. They don't have any script for that. We have some cave painting on the wall, and I told you they were burying people in the main places. And now regarding the Homo sapiens that started from New Stone Age, invention of agriculture and human settlement, domestication of animals, use of metal and civilization, and then you go to the recorded history, we come to that, which is called, we started with natural religion from 3000 BC to 400 BC. Natural religion, they are also called non-Abrahamic or non-prophetic. Respect and worship for natural forces, events, and associating to the supernatural entities such as God or godlike figure. There are many many civilization or many religion under that, and these are Egyptian civilization, and then there is now I just wanted to mention one thing here. Although at this time, during the time of ancient Egyptian civilization or religion, this religion was basically polytheistic, means many god and many things. And you can see that happens in Egyptian civilization, that happens in Indus Valley civilization, which includes Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. All these are polytheistic religion. Sumerian religion is also polytheistic. Chinese, Taoism, Confucius, Maya, Aztec, Inca, Japanese, all of these civilizations are polytheistic. They are all ancient civilizations. They respected natural forces because they didn't have a reason or explanation why certain events happen in the nature. Blowing of wind, flood, water, river flowing, farming, agriculture, animals, big animals, small animals, cloud, lightning, many things. A human being was not able to correlate why this thing happening. So they associated all these things to a natural God, a supernatural thing. I just wanted to, before I go to the next, which is called Abrahamic religion, at the time of civilization for Egyptian, there was a failed attempt for monotheistic, like a prophetic religion. There was an attempt to start that kind of religion around 1300 BC. And it was the time when the great Egyptian king, he changed his name to Akhenaten. So he changed his name to Akhenaten. and the famous Akhenaten and his wife, also very famous, supposed to be the most beautiful queen of the world in ancient time, called Nefertiti. So these were the ruling at that time, the Egypt, and at that time, this Akhenaten started a new religion, which was described as sun disk or sun god, which he named Aten. So Aten was that's why he changed his name to Aten. What he did, once he wanted to start, because he was a king and his wife Nefertiti also supported him, so he imposed this religion, one god, that is Aten, to all over the Egyptian population, Egyptian civilization. Not only that, he murdered and he destroyed all the old temples, old livings, old god figure, old god sculptures, and everything that is Amun and all those many Egyptian god. So he murdered all the priests from there, and he went to a different place and he developed a new kingdom or a new capital, which is called Armana. So still the place is in the Egypt. It is called Armana. So he was there, and he practiced this monotheistic religion throughout his life. And those who don't agree with this monotheism, he used to kill them. But something after his death, his next succession came King Tut, if you remember, Tutankhamen. He was his son. Then his son became the king of Egypt, and he changed back. He rolled back the religion from Aten back to old polytheistic Egyptian religion. So this was an attempt for a Brahminic religion at that time, which was monotheistic religion at that time in the ancient time, but that didn't last, so that was gone. But then they continued to do this. Then we came to the Brahminic religion around about 1200 BC to 600 AD. The last Abrahamic religion was Islam, we all know that. But there are many of those prophetic religion, but these are what I'm telling you, these are the main pillars of Abrahamic religion. They are called Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Zoroastrianism. So these are the Abrahamic religion. Now, at this time, they started during the time, and the last was Islam from 600 AD, that we all know that at the time of Mr. Muhammad. Now let us come to I don't want to spend too much time discussing the old thing. I just wanted to go over with, now come back to the modern existing religion. So I'm come to the Abrahamic religion first. Judaism. There are only 0.2% of the world population is Judaism, or they are Jews. They live mostly, 98% of Jewish people live only in two countries, USA and Israel. In fact, more Jewish people live in USA as compared to Israel. But these are the two main, the country where Jewish people live, which is called Judaism. Christianity is the biggest religion of the world. 31% of the world population is Christian, and the number, if you count in the number, 2.4 billion people are Christian. The second comes Islam. which is 25% of the world population, and these are roughly about 1.9 billion people follow the Islam. Then the last I just wanted to mention Zoroastrianism, Parsi or Persian. They are mostly Zoroastrianism. They follow that Majda, Ahova, their good god. Majda same like a Majda car. So there's less than 0.1% of the world population is Zoroastrianism. Now comes the non-Abrahamic religion, Indus Valley civilization, that is polytheistic religion. This is the only polytheistic religion which is still going on, which is also comes under the term Sanatan Dharma. And Hinduism, so 16% of the world population, third largest population of the world, is 1.3 billion. And after that, 6.7% of the world is Buddhism, is the main one in India, in Hindu civilization, in Hindu religion. Then we have a Jainism, then we have a Sikhism, then we have a other tribal religion, so that's one. Now, I wanted to just mention a little bit about dawn of modern religion. So what we are working, what is called modern religion? So these are all religion that a lot of people follow. But there is, because of development in wisdom and understanding of the word and process of the word, we are seeing the dawn of modern religion. Personally, I call them a very special name. I don't know if anybody will agree with that name, but this is what I think the modern religion is coming to, which is called cosmicism. Cosmicism means cosmic, which is called religion. I think it also relates to Sanatan Dharma. Now, before I go further for the religion thing, modern religion, or more for the religion, what my understanding is this: what are the basis of existence of religion? Nowadays, because of this modern world, why we believe in particular doctrine or in particular religion or in particular philosophy, particular way of life? What makes us to resort to these options? Now, these are the reasons which I feel that we go back to the religious thing. Birth, death, and afterlife. All the religion, almost all, they have this thing: birth, death, and afterlife. What is the meaning of birth? What is the meaning of death? And what is the afterlife? These are the basic concepts that religion is still existing today. Now I will talk about each of these things one by one. And I will talk about what is the status now at our modern day that we call it. First of all, let us come to the concept of birth. Birth, I mean natural biological process of birth. Now, I'm coming to the main development. In 1990s, early part of 90s to the end of the 1990s, scientists were trying to figure out the sequence of human gene. And by the time end of the 90s decade, scientists were able to map out and figure out each gene for human being. So there was, which was called a Genome Project in USA, and that Genome Project was completed 10 years before schedule, in sometime in part of 1990s. After that, lot of development has happened. Now, where we are in this development nowadays, we have a determination of genome, that is sequencing of genome. We have in vitro and in vivo fertilization, like we can do eggs and sperm fertilization inside the body and also outside the body. Freezing of eggs and sperm, we know that. Surrogation, if you cannot have a baby on your own, you cannot become the woman cannot become pregnant. She can rent or she can hire some other woman and get her egg and her husband's sperm implanted and get a baby. Now we have another thing for the same concern with the birth, test tube baby. We can start fertilization process in test tube, and at certain point we can transfer to uterus. We can also have a sex determination of the baby. Even at the time there's a conception, immediately after that you can find the sex from fetal cells. Not only that, because of genome project, there is something, and it is a proven technique. We can do that. The scientist is able to do it, which is called customization of baby. You will be very surprised to know this. Nowadays, we have a technology, the scientist, that you can customize your baby the way you want. Exactly the same way that you can customize your car, your house, your world, anything. You want particular height of the baby, you want particular color of the skin, you want particular color of the hair, you want particular teeth, you want particular iris, you want particular IQ, you name it. There is no limit. And you can do customization. It is unethical, but we have a technology. Near future, this is I'm coming to that. In near future, we may try to get, which is called artificial uterus, that you don't need a human body, because you can simply put fertilization, and you have an artificial environment where a baby can grow and become independent after some time. Now, if we have these kind of things, you can freeze the egg, you can freeze the sperm. How long you can freeze it? What is the limit? There's no limit. Hundreds, thousands, millions of years. Who knows? You can. So now what I'm talking about is certain things which are for future. Now it is look like a scientific fiction, but pay attention to these things. Something is called interstellar travel and computerized regeneration of humans in the space in distant future. This is one concept. Now you have a software, you have information technology, you can freeze these eggs, you can freeze the embryo in distant future from thousands and millions of years. Computer can awaken or to thaw the eggs and sperm, fertilize them, and then put in an artificial uterus and let them grow and then become a human being. Because interstellar travel may be 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, who knows? Because in space, distance is unimaginable. It goes with light years. We don't have technology to travel that fast, but who knows? But anyway, so now why we still believe in if we can do all these things for the birth, what is the problem? Why we go back to religion where what we are not able to do it? As you can see, we have done everything. We can do everything in the name of birth. One thing we cannot do at this time. Maybe in future we can do it, but we cannot do it now. And these are the most important thing is creation of life from organic matter in the lab. We have not done so far. We have gone only up to the creation of amino acid, that we have created an organic acid which is called amino acid, which is the building block of the life. But two things we are not able to do it at this time. To make protein, something which is called artificial protein, organic protein. And even if we make protein and carbohydrate and all those things artificially, we are not able to create life with that. We cannot do that at this time. Otherwise, as I mentioned, all of those things, we can do that. Next thing is concept of death. Now comes to the death. This is also where the religion comes in. But where we are in modern science regarding the death. Now, there is something called a clinical death. Physicians and medical people understand this. Clinical death means there are three pillars of life: brain, heart, and nerve, heart, brain, and breathing. So breathing, heart, and brain. These are the three pillars of life. So what is the definition of clinical death? Permanent, irreversible damage of brain, heart, and lungs is called clinical death. Permanent, irreversible damage of more than half an hour is called clinical death. On that basis, death certificate is given. There is something called molecular death. Molecular death means when the real cell, the independent cell, which has a live functioning, that it has a boundary of a cell which is a selective permeable, that it can only allow certain things to come in and certain materials to go out. It is a selective thing. And there are organic matter inside the cell. When this thing stops, when this thing reverses, then it is called molecular death, then cell cannot be regenerated, as we know that. Now, after this, I don't know if you have heard this technology or not. I will explain you a little bit. Nanotechnology. Nanotechnology means instrument which are smaller than atom. They can go inside a material or element, and then they can repair the damage which was done in that, which is called nanotechnology. Now, application of that technology in medicine, that you can create a new medicine, you can reverse the cellular death, that is called nanomedicine, a part of that. There is another technology which is called cryonics. Cryonics simply means freezing of living organisms in such a way that the body or living organism is not going into molecular damage. So you have to treat the living organisms in a particular way and then freeze it with absolute temperature so that the molecular death does not happen. And you will be surprised to know that there is a technique which is called cryogenics, which there is a company in California based in USA that is called Alcor organization, ALCOR, Alcor organization. You can Google it, you will find it. What they do, that they give option to the people who can bring their loved one dead, and they can preserve their body in the barrel with the absolute below zero temperatures with liquid nitrogen. And they have two ways of doing it. Either they do the cryogenics for head, or they do the cryogenics for whole body. Now, hoping, why they are doing it? Hoping that in future, when the nanomedicine and nanotechnology and cryonics go much further, much developed, the nanotechnology can revive the people who has gone molecular death. So they can repair the genes and the all those things. Now, where are we in that system? This is where we are. As per Alcor organization, or as per our scientific assessment, we will be, there are many freeze body we have in Alcor Corporation. In 2031, remember this is the prediction. In 2031, the science will use nanotechnology, nanomedicine, cryogenics, and all these things to thaw a human body and to regenerate the molecular damage which has been done to the body. So hopefully we can revive the freezing body like this. And it's not far, it's only 2031. We'll see what happens. You will see that. And then we all know also possibility of cloning of human. We can clone sheep, dog, we can clone animals, we can clone plants. We are eating a lot of clone foods and clone animals. So what about cloning a human? We can clone a human. That's not a problem. We can clone it. So we can clone a human body. And then possible duplication and revival of humans, when you revive and when you clone a human body from the person who died before or the person you are just cloning, you can clone, you can repair everything, you can clone everything, you can do everything. How we can do the duplication of development of mental faculty? A person has experience, has a memory, has a mental faculty, has a psychology. So how can scientists duplicate that? Because unless you find a protein or some neurotransmitter that restore your memory, and we are far away from that. We don't know anything about that. For memory, we all know that where it's stored. How it is stored, we don't know. So that is, I think, this is the concept of death. So you are the big one. What you think of this? Now I will talk about concept of afterlife. Afterlife means, I don't want to go into this too much because it is a unexplored, what you call, territory. Nobody knows. I mean, people claims that they have come from death, that they have seen a dark tunnel, they have seen a light, and this and that. They have seen uh, bad people, they have seen a good people, and this and that. I don't want to go into that. I will just mention few names which people have talked about, concept of afterlife, but whether it is a true or not, we don't know. So I will just talk about few things. First one is called mummification. You know that Egyptian used to mummify their human, like their king and animals and all those things. But why? What was the reason? It is under their religion. Why they were doing it? And not only that, you have seen that in Egypt, in some temples, or in there is another area in the Egypt where they found lot of mummies about, well, I don't remember, but that's fine. Lot of Egyptian king has been mummified. Why they did? And not only that, they mummified in underground places with a full luxury. They have a food, they have all the luxury and furniture and animals and workers and slaves and everything, hoping that they were believing in afterlife, that as the sun keeps on going in the sky and it dips in the horizon, so the life ends and then it comes back and it starts from the horizon again, so the life comes back again and it gives the light to the whole world. So they have some kind of afterlife philosophy. I don't know what it is. Now, comes to Indian philosophy, Hinduism or Hindu dharma or Hindu religion, I should say. There is too much things said about this. A lot of people believe that, and there are a lot of claims which call it reincarnation. Reincarnation simply means that your atma, your spirit, goes out and it goes to a different human body, and then it develops there. So, and then you become another human being. There are a lot of religious principles on that. If you do good things, you will get a human life. If you do bad things, you will get an animal life. All those things, and they have claimed that they remember their old life, and they were king, or they were another person, or they were another animal's long life in previous life, but now they are different. There are a lot of claims, and it's your personal thing, you believe it or not. If you look at me, I don't believe it. I have never met anybody who claims like that in all my life. I have read it, I have heard about many people, but I don't have any personal experience. You might have it. If you have it, I mean, I want, if you know somebody firsthand, not that you have heard from somewhere, if you know somebody and if you can make an evidence, if you can record and corroborate that, what story he or she is telling, go to the place where they were and make sure that they remember. So if you corroborate the story, only then you can put on the website and see what we can discuss. That is called reincarnation. Last thing I want to talk about, we call it Qayamat. Qayamat means a time will come under Islam that after the whole world becomes what we call Darul Islam, the whole world becomes Darul Islam or Muslim, at that time the Qiyamah will come, the dead will rise and they will go to heaven, and there are many fantasies, I don't want to go into detail, are there. And so this is not a reincarnation. You just go there. That's it. You stay there. You don't come. So that is called afterlife. These are the basic thing I gave you: birth, death, and afterlife. These are the modern thing. Now, if you go through all these things, if you there are the evidence for this. If we have this thing in our front of our eyes, lot of religious belief, lot of religious proceedings, lot of these are shattered because of this, and because of scientific development. Now we know why rain happens, why sun comes, why cloud comes, why before many in ancient time we didn't have any explanation. So we associated these things with some supernatural thing, but now all those beliefs are being shattered like this modern development. So now where we are, what is the outcome? What is the future? So let us go to the future. Future of men. There are two things I can talk about. One, I will talk about short-term future and the long-term future. The short-term future, I can say there are four families of the scenario that can happen in short-term, in near future. Number one is extinction, that the human race becomes extinct. Now, artificial extinction means somebody kills all the human beings. Hydrogen bomb or atom bomb or radiation or whatever, kill everybody. That's called artificial extinction. If you go to the natural extinction, so let us talk about natural extinction of species. In general, the time period for one particular species to stay in this world, as we know that 99% of the life which has been ever existed on planet Earth has been extinct since the beginning of the eternity. So this is what scientists think. One particular species, the lifespan before it becomes extinct is from 1 million to 10 million years. So if we have a life, or if we have a creature, it has somewhere from 1 million to 10 million years life expectancy, then the species become extinct. This is what the assessment is. Then the second thing is called recurrent collapse. It goes like waves. You get high, then you collapse, then you go high, then you go collapse. It's like a waving thing. Or there is something called, third thing is called plateau. Plateau means you go at some certain height and you stay there, that's all. The human species is not going to develop, not going to deteriorate, it just stays like this. This is called plateau. And the last one is post-humanity. This is different. This can happen. Either you become a superhuman, you transform into a superhuman, you change your body look or functioning or whatever, or you become a lower human. This is called post-humanity. This was the short period of time. Now there is something called long-term future. Now, a long-term future, this is what scientists think. that artificial intelligence technology going to surpass the biological man. This is what scientists think in long term, not in few thousand years, but few million years. In my young life, roundabout when I was around 20 years of age, my father gave me a book which is called Reader Digest book. And he told me, please read this article. The article name was Silicon Men. I don't know what year was this Reader Digest, but if any of you find out the Reader Digest, the book of that particular time, there is an article called Silicon Men. Now, this Silicon Men, it was like, 30 years back now I'm talking about. So what the long-term future, that means the article, I don't remember the full article. I'm eagerly searching for that article if I can find it. It was predicted for a million years from now. What will happen from million years from now? You can easily see what happened million years before. Earth is in existence for billion of years. We have the history of billions of years before. Can you venture out and predict what will happen to the earth after a million years? You cannot. Can you predict what will happen in 1,000 years from now? You cannot. So million years is a long shot. But anyway, if it happens, the whole article, the main gist of the article was that after a few million years, men will transform into silicon men. No life form, all computer, all computerized. The computer will be controlling computer. A small computer will be controlling big computer. The human being will not be there. Creation of human being may be there, which has overcome or which has controlled the human. Suppose artificial intelligent thinks that this biological man is threat to our system. So why not destroy it? And computer will do that. So this is called Silicon Man. That's what will happen in future. You make your own imagination and tell us. Finally, before I finish this thing, I wanted to say something about our understanding of the word. How can we live better? How can we make our life better for ourselves, for everybody else? Remember, in Hindu we have talked about 4 grahastha jivan, like bachpana, javani, budhapa and nirmana and all those. These kind of concept is in almost all religion, that you start like this, you do this, you do this, finally you do that. So you have some deeds, you have some philosophy, you have some doctrine to do like this. You have to follow your own faith. This is the way. But what happened, the modern religion is totally different now. It doesn't matter which faith you belong to, what you do. When it comes to the modern thing, we all drive car, we all use computer, we all fly in the air, we all go on ship, we all use our phone. So these are the normal way of life now. And there is no demarcation in this. Anybody, all of us is doing this. You understand this? So this is the way we are doing. Now, so those 4 stages of human development and any religion and all those things, it doesn't matter now. It is a modern time. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. There was an American historian, he's no more now, from Los Angeles. His name was Alvin Toffler. Remember this name. It's called Alvin Toffler. You can Google it. What he said is this. Nowadays, in modern time, the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and cannot write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. This concept is called learn, unlearn, and relearn theory. So, whoever you are, whatever faith you have, if you don't go in these stages, now believe this is not things which is happening now. This is keeps on going on for another time. So this is called learn, unlearn, and relearn theory. I will explain to you some of this. You learn that if you want to call somebody, you have to go and pick up a phone from the handle, dial it, and then talk to somebody to communicate with that. Nobody doing that. You use your phone, right? In my time, I remember this. I can give you a short story about this. When I was in medical college, there was one girl on the other building. I was so crushed on her that I went to a kite shop and I asked them to make a special kite for me or to put her name on that. And he put her name on that. And I flew that kite and drop it on her on her roof. What I'm trying to say is that letter writings, telegram, all those technology gone. You do texting now. So what I'm saying that things have changed, and this has become a modern way of life. It doesn't matter who you are. So Mr. Alvin Toffler, he wrote a very famous book which is called Future Shock and Third Wave. This is his famous book, and this is the quote from that. You are not illiterate just because you cannot write and you cannot read. I have met people who are a tangawala or who are a rickshawala or who don't know how to read or who don't know how to do that, but they have valuable life experience. They can raise their children. They can do their job. They can do everything. They can sell their stuff. So the thing is this. Nowadays, the concept is this. You have learned certain things in your life. Now you see, when you grow up, you see in the world, what is the world, what concepts are there, how people behave, how people do. Now it will be hard that what you have learned, you have to unlearn that you have to get rid of wrong things that you have learned in your life. And not only that, you start relearning again. So you relearn again. Now, before I leave this topic, old scientists used to tell you that, after a certain age, you don't learn anything because your brain has a certain fixed number of neurons, and after a certain age, they don't regenerate. In fact, they die out slowly, and you cannot learn new skill. The thing which we call it in our Indian language, बूढ़ा तोता राम राम नहीं सीखता. ये सब पहले की बेकार बातें हैं. आजकल ऐसा नहीं है. Nowadays, it has been proven by scientists that there is no fixed age for learning, relearning, or relearning and unlearning everything. Your brain can still make a new neurons. Your brain can still make a new connection with the other neuron. Not only that, they can generate themselves. This is also proven now. So those things are discarded. This is called, this particular, there is a special term for this, which is called neuroplasticity. This is the word we call neuroplastic or neuroplasticity, that your brain can unlearn, learn, and relearn things. Now, this Mr. Toffler, he predicted few things for future. I just wanted to go through the concept, what he was talking about, learn, unlearn, and relearn theory. So, rise of internet and cable television. Not cable television, but Wi-Fi television or whatever you call it. This happened in the last 30 years, that internet, cable television, this has changed the human life. And this is the modern way of life, no modern religion. Genetic engineering and cloning, I discussed that already. That's what he said. Demise of nuclear family. Remember in old days, we had a uncle, chacha, tau, everybody living in one roof. It was called a big family, just compound family or large family. That is called nuclear family. Now those things are gone. We are now doing our own, which is called nuclear family. Same thing I learned just recently, because everybody was talking about in Islamic religion that they had a concept of ummah. Ummah means it's a brotherhood. Every Muslim in the world belongs to one group, it's one religion, it's one piece of land. There is no different country. Everybody is Muslim, or it's just ummah kind of thing. But that's not the case now. It is the different country now. We have 58 Muslim country. We have other Muslim country. Certain group of Muslim country people are not welcomed in other Muslim country. Other Muslim country don't go to another Muslim country. Why? This is the reason why. Because the nuclear family is gone. You are on your own. Look at the last one. The last one is called consumerism. Consumerism is, as a consumer, we are consuming things from the world. And there are people or there are organizations who are making things for you, right? So, first of all, we used to go and get the grocery, we used to go and get the furniture, we used to go this and that. Now, things have drastically changed, right? Now we have a online shopping. You don't have to go to shop, just do it online. Nowadays, it was before also, each and every vegetable, each and every meat packaging, each and everything is available in the market, and there is instructions how you grow this vegetable, how you grow that vegetable, how you do this, how you make that. Everything, all which is called DIY, do it yourself. This is a word of DWU, means do it yourself. And believe me, in future, in consumerism, this is the thing which is going to happen in very near future, very shortly. Everything is going to be do it yourself. An automobile part factory is making a particular part for your car. There will be instruction. Do it yourself. How to do it? Because if you go to get it done, more leisure, more luxury, more expensive, more problem. So consumerism is going to happen. This is called do DIU, do it yourself, and that's going to happen. So finally, nowadays, what is the concept? Modern religion of men. What is the modern religion of men? Whether you like it or you don't like it, or you follow it or you don't follow it. This is the concept now. Modern religion of men, same for all. There's no change. Either you in or you are out and go away. This is the modern religion. You must have to follow this modern religion, same for all. Modern mankind conduct and deeds and principles is going to be the same in near future. I can hear a lot of debates on TV about one ethnic group for the other ethnic group. I mean, I have seen this all the time. If one particular ethnic group is making allegations on some other ethnic group, how the other ethnic group respond? They don't want to talk about what is the other ethnic group is accusing them. They try to accuse back again that we are doing this because you didn't do that. I mean, it's just what in Hindi we call it, दूसरे के गुनाह गिनाने से तुम्हारे अपने गुनाह खत्म नहीं होते हैं. तो पहले अपने आप को देखो, फिर दूसरे को देखो. तो चलिए, आज this is the main thing I wanted to talk about today. So now the thing is, what is going to be the next video for me? That is going to be a very controversial video, because I will be talking about now some philosophies and doctrine of established religion of the world, not the rare or old or new, but established religion. I will talk about that. So this is, hopefully you like this this video, and please update me when you have a chance that what do you think about this. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram.